NCAA basketball totals for Saturday, February 18th. This is where we're going to break down some totals set by odds makers. This week we've been kind of stagnant, just going 1-1 on just about every day. But hopefully we'll get over the hump today with 3 picks on the board. Still really good winning percentage on the year. We're still hitting around 55% of our plays, so nice profit margin. Let's see if we can continue and have a strong push through March Madness on these totals. For NCAA hoops, which have been very difficult this year. NBA as well has been extremely difficult. We have a live segment going on with that one. That goes on through the week. You want to tune into that. Next one up is going to be for the All-Star game, Sunday, 4 o'clock Eastern. We're going to have a live segment. That's been fantastic as far as the feedback and stuff like that. SBRpicks.com, Sportsbook Review, YouTube channel, Facebook page. You got to check that all out. Let's look at 3 totals today in NCAA hoops. First one up, we got Northeastern and Charlotte. College of Charleston. Sorry about that. College of Charleston plays one of the most underrated. Statistically, they're one. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. Statistically, they're one of the best defenses in the country. An underrated team too. It's a pretty good team they got going on this year. Pretty good mid-major. Now earlier they met in the year where Northeastern upset them at COC, 73-72. Now, in that matchup, the second half, they scored 87 points. Northeastern shot out of their minds. What I like about this matchup is the fact that these 2 teams really actually go at a slow pace. Sorry, let me talk about the number. Oddsmakers have it at 132.5, and we are going under. Now, in that matchup, Northeastern got up 57 attempts. College of Charleston got up 55 attempts, but both these teams average on year about 53. So that was a little bit of an anomaly, especially that second half scoring of 87 points. I don't anticipate that happening again. Look for a much more controlled affair in this game. Now, also what really gets my radar up on this one is Northeastern shot out of their minds. Shooting, over 47% in that game, but more impressively, over 47% from distance as well. College of Charleston, they're one of the best teams in the country in defending from beyond the arc, allowing opponents just 30.4%. That ranks 13th in all of NCAA hoops. So look for them to ratchet that up in this matchup on the road at Northeastern. And Northeastern, no slouch at all on the defensive end. They're allowing opponents just 44.8% shooting overall and just 69.8 points per game. So look for these teams to step things up defensively. Like I mentioned, they both average, just about 53 attempts. I just don't see it get over in that 132.5. That last game was just one of those crazy ones that happened. I don't think it's going to happen twice. So look for this game to be a much more lower scoring affair. And let's head to our next one. We got Texas Tech, West Virginia. Now they met earlier in this year as well, to an overtime affair, 77-76. Great game that Texas Tech won. Oddsmakers have this one at 143.5, was just a bucket over basically of what the regulation was in this last game. And I'm going to back under this total. These are 2. Now, Texas Tech's really starting to turn around their program, been very competitive this year, and they're doing it on the defensive end. Offensively, they've been efficient, but they don't push a lot of tempo, averaging just 55.3 attempts per game. Defensively, though, let's look at their statistics. Very solid. 66.2 points per game allowed. And they're also allowing opponents just 22.7 field goals made per game, and they're allowing opponents just 52.5 attempts per game. That ranks 16th in the country. West Virginia, same thing. They don't allow a lot of attempts, really good defense, and they force turnovers. Great job by Huggins. They're allowing just 22.2 field goals made per game and 52.8 attempts per game. That ranks 21st and 23rd, respectively. So I don't think they're going to match what we saw in that last game. And West Virginia should take care of business at home in this matchup. What gives me a little bit of pause is West Virginia can really put up some points. I feel like if Texas Tech, though, knows, or Texas Tech feels like they can compete in this game or pull off any type of upset, which is unlikely, they're going to have to slow things down against a West Virginia team that's averaging 85.7 attempts per game. So this 143.5, I think, is just a bit too much, and I'm going to back under this total with 2 really good defensive teams here. And the last one up we got is Arizona and Washington. 150.5, and we're going over this one. So we got 2 unders and an over. Now they met up earlier this year with I lost that. Let me pull that up real quick. Sorry about that. Well, they met up, I think it was a 77-66 final. I don't have that in front of me, but I was just doing the research on that, and we're going to break that one down here real quick. Let me pull it back up. I just lost that. Sometimes that happens with, how computers work. It just bugs out on you sometimes. Two good scoring offenses, though. Right now, you got Arizona. They're averaging 75 points per game. Washington, we know they go up tempo, 78.2 points per game. Now, what's surprising for me, actually, is the tempo that Arizona is allowing on the year, with opponents getting up over 57 attempts per game. That's not that great for an Arizona team, a Miller coach team as well. They got some athletes and they have no problem running. So let's go ahead. Let me pull up that last game here real quick, because I do want to look at that. I believe it was a 77-66 final. Yeah, I am correct on that. That was at Arizona. Now this game's at Washington, so I think Washington is going to be a little bit more efficient in this matchup. When we look at the pace of this game, though, you're talking about a Washington team. They got up 69 attempts, and they only shot 39% from the floor, as well as just 26% from distance. They should be able to score better at home, even against a very good Arizona defense. In that matchup, Arizona just 53 attempts, but they shot 45% and 33% from distance, respectively, with that 45% being overall. Now, I like for Arizona to go ahead and get up and down in this matchup. Two good scoring teams, and I think we're going to see that at 150.5. Also, Washington has been under the total their last 7 games, and they're not an under the total type of team. So oddsmakers, this is actually a little bit low, this 150.5. When we look at these two teams traditionally over the last few seasons, oddsmakers have had the totals at 154.5, 164.5, 162, 147. The last 2 games they've gone under the total, actually. So oddsmakers naturally have made this, at 150.5. That makes some sense. But I really like for these two teams to get up and down at Washington, and for them to go ahead and put up some points. So, the Huskies, man, they've really struggled this year. I mean, they've lost their last 9 games in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, their last 8 games in a row after beating Colorado. But they're not shy to get up and down the floor. So I like for them to do just that. Arizona, I think, is going to be able to put up a lot of points, and I'm going to go over this 150.5. That's it. We're going to break that down one more time. A lot of, as always, a ton of other statistics to break down, but for brevity's sake, we're just going to stop right there. Those are our 3 picks. Charleston Northeastern under the 132.5. Texas Tech West Virginia under the 143.5. Arizona Washington over the 150.5. Right now we're sitting at 143 and 117. We're doing just fine. So hopefully we can have another good day today. And that's going to be our NCAA total segment. Don't forget to check out our NBA live segment. And I wish you luck on your picks today.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SPR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.